All right, guys, welcome to episode number 4 of the Corso Academy with myself, Pam Grushock, Whitney Whitaker, and of course, Tony Scandy, star of the show. Today's episode is going to be on a hot topic we have all been waiting for, is colors of the Cane Corso. Whitney, what are some of the questions that Tony's going to answer for us really briefly? This is going to be one of our shortest to the point episodes today.
Yeah, it's because the answer should be pretty quick and pretty direct, right? So
Absolutely.
we're going to go over what the breed standard colors are, what's acceptable, and not only the coat, but also we're going to talk about eye color too. So looking forward to this. So let's get going.
Yeah. All right, Tony, what's the color standards for the Cane Corso and what's not? Maybe start with that.
I'm going to break it down. I'm going to try to make this a fast episode. It's a big, huge problem in the breed right now going on. It's a lot of these people from these bullies, the bully breed, the bullies, the Frenchies, with all these bullshit crossbred colors and fluffies and merles, and it's no such thing. It doesn't exist, period. If you're looking for a Corso and you see these breeders out there posting that they have merle Corsos, they're full of shit. Real simple. Totally full of shit. The breed does not exist in merle. The breed doesn't exist in any of these off-the-wall colors that they're trying to put up there. It doesn't exist in reality. By standard, it would be a disqualification, period. Disqualification. So you're buying mutts. You're buying crossbred mutts, and these scammers, puppy scammers, these greeters, not breeders, are scamming people all over the country and the world into buying merle Corsos. It's another breed. You want a merle dog, go buy a dog that's supposed to be merle. And there's not many of them because merle in a lot of breeds comes along with blindness and deafness. There's a lot of issues that go along with merle, and that's what people don't research. It goes back to the same problem. TikTok, bullshit, TikTok famous, Facebook, Instagram, they got 1 million followers. They pay for followers, and they make these people think that they're some great breeder when they're just a con artist. They're straight con artists. They don't exist. Merle Corsos do not exist, period. Let me say it one more time. Please share this around, share it around the country, help your people, help your clients, help your innocent victims to not get stung with that shit. So, we can get into the colors. I mean, if everybody can go onto the AKC website, it's going to be the same colors that exist in the FCI website. Go to any of the websites for the actual true standard. I'll read it. Colors acceptable in the breed are black, lighter and darker shades of gray, lighter and darker shades of fawn, and red. Brindling is allowed on all of the colors. Solid fawn and red subjects, including lighter and darker shades, have to have a black or gray mask. So that means that any of the fawns and reds that we see out there without a mask, they're disqualification. They don't have a mask, disqualified, out of the ring. Unfortunately, we have a lot of champions out there that are red and fawn with no masks because the judges don't educate themselves. They don't pay attention. They don't care to pay attention. They're getting paid to judge the dogs, and they can give a shit less to pay attention. Any fawn or red dog in the ring without a mask shouldn't be in the ring. And that's the common sense of an educated owner and breeder educating himself. A breeder, if I produce a dog that's a fawn or red with no mask, it's going into a family home as a pet with no breeding rights, period. It's not supposed to happen. So if you don't have a black or gray mask, it's a pet. Unfortunately, too many greeters out there. Like I said, not breeders, greeters. They want the money. So they're going to tell somebody, we got this rare fawn without a mask. No, you got a pet. You got a dog that came out without the characteristics it's supposed to have by standard. That's just to hit on the little black and gray mask thing. The mask does not go beyond the eyes. I want it to come up to, the base of the eyes. You want a nice full mask. It doesn't have to go to the eyes, but it's great if it does. But there has to be a little mask. It has to be a mask, not just a little piece of black on the lips right here. The mask has to cover the mask. It's a must. So then, let's see here, including lighter and darker shades. The mask does not go behind the eyes. There may be a white patch on the chest, on the throat, on the chin, backs of pasterns, and on the toes. So it says on the toes. It's not supposed to go into the foot like a boxer. It's on the toes, the white. The unfortunate thing about the standard is it says there may be a white patch on the chest. It doesn't say if it's a little patch or the whole entire.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, you see dogs out there with a little tiny dot, not a big deal. You see them out there with a whole entire white front chest going all the way down into the belly. Is it against the standard? By the way it's written? No, it's not against standard by the way it's written, and some people prefer that. I don't like it, but it's some people prefer it. It used to be a percentage where it said before 50% of the chest, so wasn't allowed to go that far. They took the percentage out. So the reality is, could they get away with it in the ring? Absolutely. Is it something that educated breeders want to see? No, we don't want to see that. But it's not a fault.
But that one is acceptable. That's acceptable.
Absolutely.
standard.
It's not a fault. It's in the standard. You have to go by standard. And then it says, let's see here. Back of the pasterns, allowed on the back of the pasterns, on the toes, and everything like that. So disqualifications. Any color with tan patterns, markings as seen in black and tan breeds. That's your Rottweilers. That's a lot of people out there. They got their rustic Rottweilers that they're telling people that's a rustic Corso. That's the old school. That's bullshit.
That's when you see a lot of is the black and tan or the straw.
Yeah, we'll hit on the straw too. So the black and tan, here's the reality. It's a Rottweiler. It's contamination of a Rottweiler. No breeder with an education in this breed, if you've been around any amount of time, would tell somebody, oh yeah, this is a throwback of the old rustic. No, it's a throwback of the old contamination that you all know that these old timers did. They crossed in Rottweiler. That's where your black and tans come from, your blue and tans with those patterns. They're mutts. They're crossbred. I mean, do they come out of two Corsos that are papers Corsos? They do. But are they acceptable? No, they're a disqualification. Should never be bred. I mean, I haven't gotten that stuff in 20 plus years. And when I did, I sold them for $400, $500 to buy dog food for the week. Not $2,500 or $3,500 like some of these con artists and scammers are doing to people. Some people are charging more. Oh, we got the old rustic Rottweiler. You want a Rottweiler, buy one. Get it with papers. Get a real one. Don't get a Corso that looks like a Rottweiler. The black and tans are Rottweilers, contaminated from a Rottweiler. That's what they are. It's that simple. Nobody can argue that. And if you got people that are arguing with you, hang up the phone with them because they're idiots. They're straight out idiots. The same idiots that will maybe want to argue, well, I got a Merle Corso, and and it's a Merle, and it came out of two Corsos. Your breeder told you that it came out of two Corsos. Trust me, they crossed up a bully, probably a bully, because that's what a lot of these people producing this Merle bullshit is. They crossed up breeds into their bullies to get Merle. Great Danes, just different breeds. So it's not existable. It's not existent. They don't exist. It's not acceptable. If a color of a Corso that you're looking at that these people are presenting is not in the standard, which is the problem. People don't even know to go to the AKC page and website and read the standard. Read the standard of your breed. Real simple, common logic, common sense. If the color's not in there, it's not a Corso.
Well, and like you said, if it has a black and tan, then okay, well, you're not going to breed that dog, right? So how would you, as a ethical breeder that's trying to do better?
$100 pet. I got a good friend of mine, very, very good friend of mine, that produced one recently out of some really incredible stock. It wasn't heavily like that, but it was marked like that. He's, oh man, I'm just giving it away. Got a little autistic boy. The family didn't have a bunch of money. He gave it to them. That's respectable. That's a respectable breeder. But he's not a greeter. He's a real breeder. I hate to mention names, but Vito Sims. He's a respectable breeder. I'm going to mention his name because a lot of people are like him. These other people will be charging $3,500, $5,000, and scamming people. Oh yeah, it's rustic. It's not rustic. It's contamination from something way back.
And basically, you guys are like, hey, you know what happened? This happened.
The reason that in the standard, now here's the catch. What I can talk about the standard. Some people will look and say, hey, why is it only listed in the standard that the disqualification on color? Let's see here. Where's that at? Disqualification. The only color listed as a disqualification is any color with tan patterns marked as seen in black and tan. The reason they had to list that in a color disqualification is because all these idiots out there that are trying to pass that off as, oh, it's the old rustic. It's contamination. And all of us, everybody, all those people that sit on those standard committees, they know that black and tan was the contamination of a Rottweiler. And they know that some of these older lines where, those people did that contaminating, it's going to come out. So they have to list it in the standard as a disqualification. But here's the catch. Any color that's not listed as an acceptable color is a disqualification too. Doesn't need listed as a disqualification because when you have a Merle Corso, it's not a Corso. It's not the breed. It's not acceptable in the colors. It's not in there as a disqualification either because it's something that people have done in the last 2 or 3 years, crossing, contaminating some other breed into the breed to scam their buyers into buying Merle Corsos. Oh, we got Merle. We got the only Merles. They're rare as hell. They're not rare. You just crossed in some mixed breed, put it into them, and you wanted to be a scammer because you couldn't sell your shitty garbage Corsos that you have because you don't show them, you don't work them, you don't do nothing with them, you don't health test them. you're just a puppy miller and you want to find a way, your little, what do you want to say, your lane. Some people call it their lane. Your lane.
Yeah.
Your lane is corruption. Sell them as a whole mixed breed. Tell people the truth. You want a mixed breed Merle dog that's got Corso as one of the parents? Sell them as that. But they need their lane to get their $4 or $5 grand. And there's unfortunately a bunch, and I don't want to call people idiots because I call them victims, but they should study. When you're going to spend $4 or $5 grand on a dog, you should study. Instagram ain't studying. When you go to Instagram and you see this, oh wow, I sold to this NFL guy. Them NFL guys are getting scammed. The movie stars are getting scammed because they don't know no better. They think they can trust everybody on Instagram and TikTok, and unfortunately, you can't. You can't trust them. There are a lot of scammers. The biggest scams in dog breeding is on Instagram and TikTok. Look at Facebook too. You know what I mean? It's out there. And it's unfortunate that all these new people claim to be these breeders and, they got this great name and people have heard of them. Oh, yeah, well, they got 3 million viewers and 3 million following. It doesn't mean they got one nice dog, let alone any, or you should get a pop from them, but that's what people think they should do. You got to get dogs from people that have some kind of, background, champions, HIP certifications, working titles, not just these bullshit people out there either that, they got their own lane. They got working dogs. They ain't titled to nothing. They ain't put a single title of any type of working thing on their dog, but they're out in California charging people $10,000 and $15,000 for their working lines. Working lines how? Watch some of your videos out there. Your dogs are on a chain tied to a fence or a metal gate, and you got somebody agitating it. It ain't working.
Disgusting.
It's a junkyard. There's no go title something and talk all that shit about your own lane. Go put a title on a dog, a working title, a Schutzen, PSA, anything. Go title the dogs in a bunch of these AKC different things you can title dogs in. A lot of shit available. They can't do it. The people can't do it. A lot of them are looking for their own lane. They're scamming lane. And
they're creating a niche for themselves.
Yeah, their little niche.
Yeah.
Their little bullshit niche is what it is.
And they're worried more about marketing the color of the dog.
Right, exactly.
And they don't care about the temperament or the structure they're producing or anything.
No.
They're trying to push this color because we all love puppies, right? So you look at this cute puppy, right? Anybody looks at this cute puppy and goes, oh, that puppy's adorable. Oh my gosh, I want him, blah, blah, blah. Well, the whole thing is being marketed on color. And we're going to talk about eyes in a second too, because that's something I've been seeing pop up too, color of eyes. So as an average dog owner, you have to be aware of these things like Tony's talking about. And one thing, Tony, before we touch on the eyes, is if average dog owners are watching this, they're going to go buy a pup. Where would be some a few good resources they could look into to educate themselves outside of TikTok, Instagram?
It's so simple to go to akc.org. Go pull up the Cane Corso standard. Go read on real stuff. That's real stuff. The AKC standard is the standard.
Yeah.
You just got to click on that and read it. Educate yourself with correct information rather than a bunch of Instagram and TikTok people that are giving you a bunch of bullshit. They're just selling you whatever scam they want to sell you. And it ain't just happening in dogs. It's happening in everything. Every walk of life. There's all kind of fake guns out there and fake boats out there and fake motorcycles and scooters.
Fake fitness plans that lie.
So simple, guys. Go to akc.org. I mean, you can, of course, research a lot further than that, but that's the minimum. akc.org is the minimum that you should be going to when you're going to get any dog breed. Go read the standard right there.
Yeah, and there's a real simple color chart that you can look up too on the Corso alone. And just because somebody has a Merle or a black and tan and they're trying to pretend that it's special or better, it's not better than we have. There's so many colors of Corsos and they're all so beautiful. Like they don't have to be something so special, unique, and different. That's not the point of a Corso.
Yeah, if it's that special, unique, and different, it ain't a Corso.
It'd be in the standard.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about straw real quick before.
That's what I was going to hit on.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to hit on the straw. So here's the reality of straw. Straw, it was a color that did exist. It existed in Italy, but unfortunately, that color came from a cross with the Marmoro Abruzzi. It's a straw dog. It's a white-looking dog, but it's not really white. It's straw. It's like a really crazy cream color. Unfortunately, they don't have the mask. And it's not a correct color that was put into the standard for a reason. way back in Italy in the FCI, wasn't added to the standard because it's a cross. It's a crossbred dog. When you have those straws, it came from a cross of the Marmora Abruzzi way back in Italy. It's where it came from. Unfortunately, you got a bunch of scammers in the United States that are, we're going to sell this shit. We're going to sell on this shit. They're crossing them with white American bulldogs.
Labs.
Yeah, all kind of shit. It's crazy. Cream labs. Yeah. They're not Corsos. It's not a Corso, even if it is a straw dog. Is it historical? Historical that it was a part of history in Italy. That in history you've seen some, but that's before they were recognized. That's when the Italians back then tried to recognize the breed and use the correct colors that the breed happens to have. They even had the black and tans over there, not included in the standard for a reason. They knew that it came from the contamination of the Rottweiler. So, a lot of the people, right in the standard are trying to do the right things. Now, the people in place right now, from what I understand, they're trying to put in black and tan. And unfortunately, some of the people in America that, are part of the AKC standard committee and stuff, they've twisted that standard and made that standard around the shit that they have in their backyard on that 2-year period. And they changed their lines and their looks, like people change their underwear. It's just, this didn't work out. The temperament sucked, so let's change it. This didn't work out. We got epilepsy in this bloodline. Let's change it. Well, along with changing all those dogs, those lines, they got to change the standard because they all look different. None of them are real Corsos. None of them are quality. So unfortunately, sometimes that shit gets in the wrong hands of the wrong people. And, they make a standard off of what's in their backyard. And to them, it's all about money, too. It's how much we can make a bunch of money off this. I've seen some supposed top breeders put these black and tans out there on their pages and should be embarrassment. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't even show them to people.
And they're touting them.
Like it's some great special thing. Oh, we got a special old rustic. No, that's how contaminated the shit you still have is. You didn't work hard to clean that up and out of your programs. We all seen it 30 years ago. Clean it up. You don't want that shit. They're proud of it. Well, they're proud of it because they won't tap into any quality bloodlines and they want to just keep producing dogs and making money and don't want to go spend money on some quality bloodlines to bring into their stuff. They don't want to do that. They want to trade for other bullshit that people will trade them. Like I get offers all the time for people to trade. Oh, you want to trade? No, I don't want to trade none of that shit. If I wanted something, I went out and spent money on it, as much as $15,000 and $20,000 for dogs. I bought shit that people weren't selling over there. I didn't buy everything they were going to sell me dirt cheap. You were able to bring dogs from Italy way back then, $1,000, $1,500, way cheaper than over here. But it cost you $1,500, $2,000 to get them here. But you could buy them dirt cheap. I went over to Italy and I brought shit over here that cost $15,000, $20,000 that was not available. And I said, I want that. I don't want this. I want that. Well, I'll sell you 4 of his sons for the price of him. Well, you want those 4 sons? You think they're going to be great? You keep the 4 sons. I'll take him. You know what I mean? And I got him. For the right numbers, I got him. I offered some crazy money.
One of my favorite stories. You keep the 4 sons.
You keep the 4. I'll take him. You don't need him.
He's coming to America.
Why, those 4 sons were all from him, bred different. That's a badass stud dog. That's what I can use. And I got him. He's part of my program today, and he was an import. Never threw black and tans, didn't throw merles, didn't throw straws, none of the bullshit. So straws is another fallacy. It's another scheme that a lot of breeders are doing right now. There's 2 bigger ones that are, we got this, that, and they promote that shit. And they got suckers.
For a lot of money.
A lot of money. $10,000, $15,000. Did I have that stuff myself 20 years ago? Absolutely. I seen it come out. One that I had of an import. One that a buddy of mine in New Jersey got off an import. I bought it. I said, I want to prove this color out. Let's see what it's going to do color-wise. I bred one to another. The whole litter came out that color. It's just like blue. It's a recessive. It runs as a recessive. It's easy as hell to get it. There's nothing hard about it. Those people that are acting like it's rare, it's not rare anymore because they've mass produced off that shit. There's probably thousands of them in the country, but they keep it down low and they just keep soliciting people and selling them for thousands, 5,000, 10,000. It's a mutt. It's a cross. You can't put it even in the show ring. It should never be in a breeding program. If it's not in the standard, it should never be bred. That simple. Another color I love that was a legitimate color way back in history, Morgano. Morgano was a color that was historical. I saw them in Italy. I saw them in Paolo Paletti's yard. And I tried to buy a dog. Another guy, Frank Sabatier out of California, bought that dog, screwed me out of it. And I wanted it just because it was historical. It was a real color. What contaminant it came from, I don't know. Probably Neapolitan Mastiff, because that's what they used in the Neos. And they have mahogany in Neos. Similar, same color as a Morgano, basically. So, I've seen some really badass Morganos in this country. And I actually got one a couple years ago. just to have them on my yard. I didn't use them in
So it's
reproduction.
like a deep brown, blackish.
Like a deep brown, reddish, almost.
Mhm.
It's a dark color, but it's not an acceptable color by standard, you know. So to
So-
breed that dog, is it acceptable? You can breed it, but if you're producing a bunch of that color, then you want to back off. But to my knowledge, that dog that is being bred now, not here, I let him go. But the guy hasn't produced any of that color. But, you know, when you breed an offspring of that one to another offspring of that one bred different on the female side, and you line breed on it, more than likely you're going to get that color. And you can't sell them to people to show and breed because, like I said, in reality, you shouldn't be breeding them. But if that's their own little niche, that at least is a real part of history. But we don't know of any cross. There was never a cross told to me by the Italians when I was there on any occasion that was a cross. Probably just came from the Neo, you know, which is one and the same breed somewhat. You know, these are bred to be athletic. Neo's bred a little different. But, you know, the difference in that and the straw was a cross. They all knew it was a cross. They all knew it was an accidental stuff up on the farms, you know, where the people had the dogs. They had the marmor to guard their sheep. And the Corsos interbred with them, you know, so that came from a mixed breed. So the straw dogs are a mixed breed. You know, is it historical? Historical, yes, but the history on that is contamination. History on that Morgano wasn't a contamination. Some of them looked at it as like a royalty thing. Some of the guys that I seen it on the yard were like, no, this is a royalty, but they didn't breed them. They didn't use them. They're like, we just got it. We just want to keep it as it's historical. I can't argue that because the ones that I've seen look just like them. Other people argue that they were a cross of the, what's it called? The Dog de Bordeaux.
Yeah.
Now, some of them I've seen in the country, they absolutely look like a Bordeaux. That's probably some corrupt American breeder crossing them up with Bordeauxs. And they don't look anything like the real Morgano color. They look like a Bordeaux. Got a head like a Bordeaux, eyes like a Bordeaux, body like a Bordeaux. It's crossed with a Bordeaux. So that's the dangerous stuff like that. The reality is reality. Stick to the standard. Stick to the colors within the standard. And don't mess around with all that garbage. Promote that garbage and let everybody in the country know it's garbage. It's crossbred. Stay away from that shit. And then the other thing with them straws, there was all kind of skin and coat issues with those dogs. I did it one time. I'm guilty of it. Just want to see what it could do. Those dogs all ended up skin and coat issues. The straws are very light color. The sun's getting right through them. Sunburn nonstop. And we can just use sunscreen just like they do on the Rottweilers. We can use sun. Who the hell wants to put suntan lotion on the dog daily or spraying? I mean, you're just putting the dog at risk. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. There's no purpose for that shit. There's no reason for that shit other than scammers, puppy millers that want to make money off of their niche of not a real Corso.
The other colors, really quickly before we move into eyes, that was asked about was Isabella. Is that a color?
It's same thing as like your Morgano. It's not a color either. You know, you can have any shade of fawn to a red. If it's a shade of fawn to a red with a black mask, it's a fawn to a red. I don't know what Isabella they're talking about. I've seen people say that Isabella was like the Morgano was Isabella. But here's the catch. With the Morgano that I've seen, the real ones have a black mask. Maybe be talking.
The Isabella, I think it like has like a lighter nose and things like that. So that's like the whole, And then the chocolate and the liver were the other.
No mask, no Corso.
No mask, no Corso.
Crossed with the chocolate, probably crossed with a chocolate lab. And they probably used the chocolate lab, not to just, you know, they didn't try to change the color, I'm sure. Try to probably change the temperament on some of those really, really extremely high dogs. What's a better dog for them to try to cross? Chocolate lab would be a great try. But they should have wanted a black lab. They probably didn't have a black lab on their yard. They probably owned the chocolate lab because their wife or kid wanted the chocolate. It was prettier than black. And now we got contamination of chocolate Corsos coming up all over because of the chocolate lab that was crossed in.
So basically stick to the AKC website for the colors and don't be scammed by all of these rare colors. And if you're a breeder and something happens like that, then get it out of your program.
Out of your program immediately.
Yeah. And also let's talk about eyes really quickly before we wrap up episode number 4 on colors.
A lot of the different standards have said that darker eyes are preferred. You know, you'll see that in some of the standards. Some of the Italians that you talk to will tell you that, and this is factual, I've seen it over there. A lot of the hunters, the guys that use these to hunt, even at nighttime with the wild boar, they didn't want a dark eye. They couldn't see the dog out in the woods. They wanted a lighter eye. They only bred for a lighter eye. So me, I prefer a lighter eye. I think they're sharpest could be with the lighter eye. I have both. I have lighter eye, darker eye. You know, the only thing you can't have is you can't have a bird of prey eye. Bird of prey eye is not just a certain color. It's a medium to a lighter at times, but a bird of prey eye, if you look up, you can look online. Anybody can look up line online a bird of prey eye in a dog. It looks like a bird of prey eye, like an eagle or a hawk. It's like glassed over. It's like a 3-dimensional or something type of eye. That's bird of prey eye. And, the birds can see better than anything. So it's a hell of an eye. I don't know if on the dogs they can see better, but maybe they can. But it's bird of prey was in a lot of the standards, it was a fault. As long as your eyes look clear, there's no issues with them, take them to the vet, get their eyes checked out. It's acceptable to be a little lighter, a little darker. I've seen some extremely dark to where I couldn't even tell the pupil from the color of the eye. It looked all black. I'm like, holy shit. Ugly as hell in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I want to be able to see the color of the eyeball, the eyeball and the color, the pupil. I want to see all that. One of the other colors that you'll talk about is Whitney, I think you asked earlier. Did you say something about the blue?
Yeah, I've seen some puppies pop up on the internet where they're like Merle with blue eyes and all of that. And again, these rare blue-eyed.
Rare blue eyes, yeah. Rare blue eyes. I'll tell a funny story. So way back when I first started this 30-something years ago, it's probably 35 years ago, my first litter came out and they all had blue eyes. And I was ecstatic. Oh, my God. I called Eddie Hodes. Eddie, man, I got a whole litter. They're beautiful, man. All blue eyes. They're really badass, man. Will this stay? He's like, oh, man, Tone, you're screwed. You got a whole litter of pets. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're not allowed to have blue eyes. It's a disqualification. I'm like, oh, shit. This stuff came from you. You sold me this, Eddie. I got blue eyes. I mean, they're sharp as hell. People are going nuts over it. And he let me go for like 3 days. I was sick to my stomach, ready to throw up. The first litter, one of the first litters I ever had, got blue eyes. He calls me. He said, hey, man, you all right? You doing all right? I said, yeah. He's like, you ain't over there ready for suicide or nothing, are you? I said, no, man, it ain't that bad. He's like, you sound really depressed. I said, I am depressed, man. I'm trying to do this the right way. He starts laughing. He's like, man, I got to tell you, I can't leave you hanging no more. He said, Tone, those eyes are all going to change, man. He's like, they're 3 weeks old, 4 weeks old. I said, what do you mean they're going to change? By the time they're 8, 10, 12 weeks, they're going to change. They're going to go to a darker light. They're not going to stay blue. They never stay blue. But a lot of times you'll see them come out and they're born. Eyes will be bluer, just a little bit lighter, and they'll change. So 37 years I've been doing it. I've never in my entire life seen a blue eye past 12, 13 weeks old. They always change. But he had me so scared with that, I kind of bred away. I don't even want to see blue eyes at 4 weeks or 6 weeks. If you tell me you got a litter from one of my studs and you got blue eyes at 6 weeks, I'm starting to get that same sickness in my stomach again. But
you're trying to figure out where you went wrong.
Yeah,
to have all these blue eyes.
Put your bitch in line. Send me that pedigree again. I thought I looked at it. I make people send me the pedigree of the bitch before I even breed to it. And some stuff I tell people, I can't breed to it. I'm sorry. I can't breed to it. And I tell them the reason why, and they respect it. It's more respectful for them to hear the truth from me and me telling them why I would never do it. So what else I want to cut? Sorry about phone interrupting.
That's okay. Yeah, I used to have a blue-eyed Corso, and then they changed. Baymax's eyes were blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I know the last thing I want to touch on. Like, so Whitney, when you're saying you'll see these people advertising blue eyes. Oh, I got these blue eyes. They're $6,000 because their eyes are blue. Well, for one, it's a fault. You shouldn't want to dog with a blue eye if they read the standard. But it's a scam, and most of them already know it's not going to stay blue past 12 weeks. So they get these people to pay $5,000, $6,000. I've heard of crazy stories, $8,000 for blue-eyed Corsos. And then the people are furious at 12, 14 weeks when the eyes aren't blue anymore. You got scammed. You got scammed. So when you see those ads, I got these blue-eyed puppies. They're not going to stay blue. Yeah. I've never in 37 years seen a Corso's eye ever stay blue past 12, 14 weeks old. Never. Yep. I don't think they exist. It's written in a standard. It's a disqualification with blue eyes. I don't know why. Maybe there was something in Italy or something way back historically that something showed with blue eyes. They said that there was at one time way back in history, Akita crossed into the breed. Some of the stuff way back, on different lines had some Akita crossed in out on the farms. Akitas have blue eyes. So I'm going to suspect, and this is just a suspect, like suspicion. I can't prove it. I've never seen it. So when I talk, I tell you I either seen it, it's a fact, or it's a suspicion. My suspicion would be that way back then in Italy, because that husky was brought in accidentally, they were seeing blue eyes.
Yeah.
They had to make it a disqualifying fault because they knew it wasn't just a blue eye thing. It's a contamination of another breed.
That would make sense.
There's no guarantee.
Yeah.
There's no thoughts, though.
Yeah.
And it's sensible. It makes sense.
This has been such a great episode. Again, just to sort of recap a little bit, if you're an average dog owner, you're looking to get a Corso, go to akc.org. Read through the breed standard. If you're looking at a dog or looking at a breeder who has anything outside of the breed standard, you're not getting a Corso. It's just as simple
Real
as that.
simple as
You're
that.
not getting a Corso. Another thing is, you know, we all love our colors, right? And the Corsos are such attractive dogs, but we always want to make sure that we're looking at the whole dog, not just the color. We're looking at the structure, and we're especially looking at the temperament of the dog. So again, when you're looking at puppies and you're looking at different breeders, if a breeder is real color driven and they're not talking about temperament, health, and structure, it's just another red flag, something to look at. So it's been a great episode. And
One last time
so-
before we go. One
you
last
got one more thing?
Yeah, go.
time. One more time. I said in the beginning, a Merle Corso is not a Corso. It is a mutt. It is a mixed bred mutt of whatever breeds they crossed. A Merle Corso is a mutt. A straw Corso is a crossbreed of a Marlboro Bruzy from way back. It is not in a standard. It is not an acceptable color as a Corso. Thus, it's not a Corso because it's a contaminated dog. A black and tan is never going to be a Corso. It's always going to be a contamination of a Rottweiler. Just, I just wanted to put this out there one more time in the end. It's a black and tan. It's a contamination of the Rottweiler that was crossed into the breed 30 years ago. You know what I mean? And people might still do it to this day. If you're talking to a breeder that's telling you they're going to sell you a black and tan or a Merle or a straw for $5,000 to $6,000, telling you you'll give them $400 for it or $300 because it's nothing but a family pet that should be kept out of ever breeding in their entire lifetime. Because I know some people are passing these around with breeding rights. It's just a scam. Don't be scammed. Use your head, smarten up people, do some research, educate yourself. AKC.org. Go look up the breed standard. You can go to the FCI breed standard. Read them both. I breed both. I try to match to the FCI standard as much as possible because it's a real standard of the breed. In my opinion, nationally, worldwide, we should all adopt the same one. AKC standard, it's a cool standard. Nothing incredibly wrong with it. There's little mistakes. For the most part, it's okay. Could it be tweaked and could it be fixed? Absolutely. But, the problem is you leave certain people in charge of making these standards up. It's, it's the problem. It's a problem.
Yeah. So if you are,
we can't get into all that right now.
if you are a average dog owner or even an enthusiast of the breed or a breeder yourself, and you're looking to better your program, make sure that you don't get scammed. Because if it's a rare Corso, it's not a Corso. So you guys don't forget to like and subscribe. And there can be a part 2 to this episode. So any questions you have for Tony when it comes to color or breedings of the color or anything like that, please comment below. You guys can email us. All that's going to be right in the description of this video. You guys know where we are on Instagram, Facebook, all of the things. And then, of course, the Cane Corso Academy Facebook group. You can ask questions, and Tony will come on a part 2 if we need for this episode to continue to talk for questions. He loves questions, and he will answer them to the fullest degree for you guys, because that's part of the reason for the show. So thanks again, you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. You guys want any last words or just
That's it. That's it.
all right.
We'll see everybody.